Okay, this one's going to be design, and let's see if we can answer a question. It's a tough question. By Chrono77, I enjoyed your message very much. What was it like to study 100 years ago? Wow, that's a heck of a question. Let's see. Could I have studied with somebody 100 years ago? Let's see. I'm going to have some fun with this pose. We're going to design. Just push, push, push. Let's see. What were they like? Not too much different than today. Very nice. Tough. And I think there's a difference between being tough and being cruel. And I think that in some cases, I think the teachers are mistaking what was perceived in the olden days as tough but caring with today, just being cruel and mean. And, nobody in the studio would talk to anybody the way a lot of people are talked to today. Not a lot's changed. It's all the same. So I would say in that regard, it might be what you're experiencing. Because, what would they say? Do the drawing over. Why? Because it's a piece of shit. It doesn't look good. Today that would make somebody, hurt their feelings. I think probably the teachers I had. So I was 13 and my teacher was 67. So, yeah, I'm not good at math. I don't think he was 100, would have been 100, but definitely a difference in generation. You learn to listen, you looked at your shoes a lot, you kept your mouth shut and you listened. I think one of the things that my teacher taught me back when, which I'm not sure really exists in today's, college classroom, is excuses. It's a lot of excuses. Not a whole lot's changed. Everybody's still the same. But we just, back then it was just normal. So stuff today that might seem to be a big issue back then, nobody really cared. Everybody just loved everybody for who they were. But I wasn't allowed to do excuses. Now, what I did learn was I would put a straight line going like there. See that? Boom. I wasn't allowed to give excuses. That doesn't mean I didn't, because I was a kid. But he wouldn't accept excuses. And I think today there's a lot of excuses going on, and, you don't like my artwork because of, something that has nothing to do with the artwork. So I think that might make some of what you're seeing. As far as teachers being tough enough on the artwork or being honest, I've always been honest in my classroom. We're honest at the school. But again, we're not cruel. We're tough, but not cruel. As far as all the other stuff that's going on, study it, read it, do your research. It's all out there and it's all good. But if you want to know if it's a whole lot different from, 100 years ago, one of those people, not really. It's just, I think my teachers were more acceptant. They just accepted you for who you were, and that's it. Everybody dissed everybody. It was kind of cute, watching all the old animators go after each other. That was always fun. But, all in good spirit. They always come together when they needed to. Remember, these are the people who started the union. My teacher helped start the union. Now, who's my teacher? My teacher is Eddie Rayberg. People might think, I met Glenn Villepeu when I was 19. I met Eddie when I was 13, and he was the best. Eddie was just, he was a director, Max Fleischer, New York. Tough. He didn't take any shit at all, and I gave all I could. I gave every excuse, and he just, so what's the difference? No excuses. Did he care about your race or your gender? No, he didn't care. Nobody really cared. But in a good way. Never changed. It was always the same. And you just, who you were, and you were loved accordingly. I think that there's a lot more, I judge people on how they treat other people. So in that regard, in my classroom, if I didn't give a student, let's say, a referral letter, they would say, why? And I said, well, I just don't like the way you're treating people, And they say, well, I treated you well. Well, yeah, but you didn't treat your fellow students well. I saw you out in the hallway and you were just mean, you just weren't nice. And so I'm not giving you that referral letter, not on how you treat me, but just how you treat your other, students. But I would say I had a very positive college experience, and, lasted a long time, more than I ever thought. And all the stuff that, you read about, read more, I studied it a lot because, anything that's new, to me, I want to learn, So what I discovered after all of the research, and I did exhaustive research, if you want, hasn't changed much at all in the sensitivity world. What it has changed is in the coddling of the American youth, and that's a really good book. So what they're saying is you need to start the kids younger, making decisions and, learning that they're, they could be wrong. So at our school, we make the kids make decisions. We don't make the decisions for them. What do you want to draw? Go figure it out. All this stuff around you. We, as young as, 5, 6 years old, they have to make decisions, and they learn that not every drawing is going to be a great drawing, and, throw it away, do another one, do it again, learn to fail. So I think that's a big deal at our school. I think a big deal at our school, which I learned from the great masters, my old teachers. And remember, it was my teachers and their friends. So, when you have a teacher who's a director from the old Max Fleischer days in New York, you get to hang out with all the other people from that age, And, so here I'm like 15, 16 years old, hanging out with animators who are in their 70s who have seen it, And what's the thing that I learned from them? Respect the person. You don't care what their religion is. You don't care what their ethnicity is. You don't care what their sexual orientation is. No, they didn't care about that stuff. They cared about who you were. They cared about how you treated people. These were real guys, real ladies. And women, I was 17 years old, and one of the best animators in the industry was female back then, So I don't know. I don't think a lot's changed. I just think it's going through a sensitivity time right now. And is it dangerous? Yeah, it is. But it's not for me. At our school, everybody's everybody. Everybody's loved. And we have everybody at our school. So, just name a religion or an ethnicity or sexual orientation. Everybody's there and everybody loves each other. And if they don't, then we make them see the light. As far as the training goes, it's yet to be seen. I try to train, my students, tough but fair, and give them the right information. So we don't hold back on any of that. So I hope this answers your question. It's a sensitive subject, very sensitive, but do I would say it was a good experience teaching in college. I taught for 20, almost 30 years, and it's all good. So I hope that answers your question. And I would say the only thing I can see different now is from back when I was younger is the excuses. My teachers just would not accept excuses. You just couldn't get away with it. They'd call you out. They were not afraid to call you out. How's that? Let me put in some green here. Let's have some fun. Let's do this. Let's see if I ruin this drawing. So I would say that would be the difference, is you were held accountable. And, because I wasn't in college, it was outside of college, outside of school. I would go to their house. I would go to the old age home. I would, sit and, study with these people. You were held accountable. You weren't allowed to get away with stuff. And I think maybe today there might be a little bit more of that. Not at our school, though. The college classroom, I guess it depends on the classroom. My classroom was always very open to everybody, and everybody was cared for and loved. And was I tough? Yeah, but I was fair. And I think there's a difference between being fair and being cruel. And I think some of the teachers are not understanding that there's a difference between being cruel and being fair. All right, I hope that helps you. And here's the drawing. Push it. Okay.